This is about shining a light.
They're not being accountable. They're not being transparent.
A light on what we found in this report.
We've read through the report. What do these 20 pages say?
These 20 pages say that someone that's trusted to uphold the laws of the state of Colorado is a racist. He's out of control.
A light on what was captured in a recording from a body-worn camera.
Anyone else, in my opinion, that did what he did that day would no longer work at the CBI today.
And a light on decisions made by senior leaders inside this office.
I'm sad that we have to be here. I'm sad that I'm sitting in this chair. I'm thankful that you're asking the tough questions because there's no one else to do it.
He's an informed source asking us to disguise his voice and his image. He fears retaliation.
Why are you sitting in that chair?
Because I didn't know another way that we could right the wrongs that are occurring at CBI.
And he's not alone. Denver7 Investigates has received a total of 4 emails and communications from knowledgeable sources demanding accountability. Their connections to CBI confirmed by our team.
They don't want to talk about it. They want to cover it up and move on.
Hi, Valentine.
Sources say frustrations are boiling over, anger over how senior CBI leaders handled an investigation into this phone call between a female and a veteran CBI agent on Valentine's Day earlier this year.
Just waiting on the SWAT team to get here.
CBI agent Doug Pearson is in a state vehicle. Records show he inadvertently activated his body-worn camera. The video shows that camera was sitting next to him in the passenger seat.
He's waiting for her roses right now.
This 37-minute recording includes a phone conversation he never intended to record.
Called me and said that there was a shooting.
In Kansas City?
And what follows became the center of that 20-page internal affairs investigation.
They have 22 victims at Research Hospital, 1 confirmed dead.
She's informing Agent Pearson about the shooting in Kansas City, the shooting the day of the Chiefs Super Bowl parade. 1 minute and 15 seconds after learning of the shooting,
Are you looking it up or?
Yeah.
Agent Doug Pearson, with no information about the shooters' identities, came to this conclusion.
Let me guess.
So in the recording, it's clear Agent Pearson says the effing N-word. Reaction.
I think it's absolutely disgusting. It rolled off his tongue so quickly, so cavalierly. That language is never acceptable, let alone from a law enforcement officer.
The body-worn camera continued recording. The phone call lasted another 3 minutes. During that time, Agent Pearson never apologized, explained, or retracted his decision to use the N-word in his assessment of the potential Kansas City gunman.
I'm telling you right now, anyone else says that, except Chris Schaefer's best friend, they're fired. I promise.
Chris Schaefer is the director of the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, the most powerful person in the state's top law enforcement agency. He oversees a staff of more than 330 employees, including Agent Doug Pearson.
Is the relationship with Director Schaefer and Agent Pearson well known?
It is well known. They make no effort to hide it. They go on business trips together, non-CBI business trips. They speak in front of conventions and law enforcement groups about motorcycle gangs. There is no secret in their relationship and how close they are.
Denver7 Investigates confirmed those statements in this Facebook posting from a few years back. It includes Doug Pearson's picture and specifically describes his working relationship with Chris Schaefer. Also, in recent communications, CBI confirmed to Denver7 that Schaefer and Pearson have a decades-long personal relationship.
What happened to Mr. Pearson?
Well, there's nothing official. No one knows for sure, but I will tell you what didn't happen. What didn't happen is he was not suspended. He kept working. He's still actively involved in cases.
CBI launched an internal affairs investigation after a routine review of the inadvertent recording discovered Agent Pearson using that N-word. According to the report, Agent Pearson violated policy and told investigators using the word while representing CBI is horrible. And he said it is not a normal term he uses in his everyday vocabulary. The Internal Affairs report does not include any details about disciplinary action.
It has had no negative effect that I can tell on his life at all.
How are the rank and file reacting to the discipline, or maybe lack of discipline?
They're angry, they're frustrated, frankly, they're embarrassed.
Outraged by the actions and the investigation that followed, several current and former CBI employees sent communications to Denver7 Investigates, including this one. The hardworking men and women of CBI deserve better and should not be subject to the ugliness of Pearson and the message Director Schaefer is sending by protecting his close friend. Denver7 Investigates reached out to Director Schaefer and Agent Pearson requesting interviews to explain what was captured on the body camera and to address the concerns raised about the investigation. Director Schaefer and Agent Pearson both declined to sit in front of our camera.
Let me guess.
That's not the person I want investigating crimes on my behalf.
What needs to happen here?
Agent Pearson needs to be fired, first of all. Anyone else would have been. And honestly, I think Director Schaefer needs to step down. I think he's beyond saving this. I think he's done this for too long, and I think he's lost all credibility.
And now let us emphasize, our investigation over the past several weeks has included calls and communications with several current and former CBI employees. Many wanted to talk to us on camera, but declined because they feared serious retaliation. Now to Director Schaefer. After declining our request for on-camera interviews, he did send us this statement, and it included, "Racist language violates our core tenet of respect towards everyone." And it concluded, "The agent was investigated, the findings sustained, and discipline issued. I was not involved in the investigation or outcome, and we can't disclose the discipline because of state personnel rules." Now, insiders still want answers from Director Schaefer, and we intend to ask those questions in the days ahead. Lots to unpack here, and we begin with a significant development. Denver7 Investigates has confirmed through multiple sources CBI has asked for a third-party review into the investigation of the racial slur and allegations the agent responsible received preferential treatment as a dividend to his long-standing friendship with CBI's director. It's information CBI leaders declined to confirm. And now we've uncovered more questions about the Bureau's delayed response.
The idea of having a CBI agent on duty using this kind of language is obviously a great concern.
Stan Garnett spent nearly a decade as Boulder's district attorney.
Reaction to what you saw in our report?
Concerning, obviously. I mean, it's embarrassing.
George Brockler is also a veteran Colorado district attorney. We asked both legal experts to analyze what we uncovered.
Had there not been body-worn camera, nobody would be dealing with this situation.
This is a credibility impacting event.
Looks like I'm working a little bit late.
They are both referring to this phone conversation, a 37-minute recording that exposed deep-rooted questions about the culture inside the Colorado Bureau of Investigation.
Just waiting on the SWAT team to get here.
The recording appears to expose questions of bias and objectivity, questions about a long-standing friendship between CBI Director Chris Schaefer and his friend, the agent on this call, Agent Doug Pearson.
Just been sitting out here all day.
Oh, that's pretty efficient.
Agent Pearson inadvertently activated his body-worn camera while on a stakeout.
Called me and said that there was a shooting.
In Kansas City?
They have 22 victims at Research Hospital, one confirmed dead.
It's a conversation with a woman back on February 14th, the day of the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl parade.
Are you looking it up, or?
Yeah.
And what you are about to hear is the epicenter of this controversy. It comes 75 seconds after Agent Pearson learned of the shooting.
Let me guess.
Agent Pearson, with no information about the shooters' identities, came to that conclusion and used that word.
Was captured on body-worn camera using a racial slur.
That recording first aired on Denver7 2 months ago.
Someone that's trusted to uphold the laws of the state of Colorado is racist. He's out of control.
Since then, the leadership at CBI has been in damage control mode. This email from Director Schaefer to the entire staff included, the behavior in question was addressed swiftly and appropriately. And then this email from Schaefer's boss. It also attempted to lower the temperature, writing, "There's no excuse for this behavior."
They're not being accountable. They're not being transparent.
Multiple sources reached out to Denver7 Investigates, sources inside and outside CBI. All requested to remain anonymous, all frustrated by the investigation into Pearson, the lack of transparency, and the overall response of CBI's leadership. Is the relationship with Director Schaefer and Agent Pearson well known?
It is well known. They make no effort to hide it. They go on business trips together, non-CBI business trips. They speak in front of conventions and law enforcement groups about motorcycle gangs. There's no secret in their relationship and how close they are.
And it's that close relationship between CBI's most powerful manager and a rank-and-file agent that has created a divisive culture. Sources claiming a long history of Agent Pearson receiving preferential treatment. What needs to happen here?
Agent Pearson needs to be fired, first of all. Anyone else would have been. And honestly, I think Director Schaefer needs to step down. I think he's beyond saving this. I think he's done this for too long. And I think he's lost all credibility.
Which leads us to this letter and more questions from insiders, concerns we brought to Garnett and Brockler.
I'm a big fan of CBI. I have worked with a lot of these guys and gals for many years. I think they do good work, but this is unacceptable.
Officially, this is called a Brady letter. Law enforcement agencies are required to notify state district attorneys anytime an officer has demonstrated a pattern of bias in protected categories that include race, religion, ethnicity, and gender.
That timeline is a lengthy timeline, a concerning timeline.
Here's the timeline Garnett is talking about. It shows a delayed response that appears to support those concerns raised by our inside sources. Take a look. Agent Pearson said the N-word on February 14th. CBI concluded its investigation into the recording at the end of April. But the CBI did not send that Brady letter until the middle of October. Did not send the letter until 2 weeks after Denver7 Investigates uncovered and reported on that recording.
Let me guess.
Why they didn't release this letter until 2 weeks after your story, I don't know, but it doesn't look good.
And it looks worse when state statutes require law enforcement agencies to promptly notify district attorneys after incidents. In this case, the letters were sent 5 months after the CBI wrapped up its investigation.
Would more than 5 months be prompt?
No, I can't imagine anything that would take 5 months that could be defined as prompt in this circumstance. If an investigation is completed and they have come to a conclusion, prompt might be 5 hours, it might even be 5 days, but it cannot be 5 months.
So 9 months after Agent Pearson said that word with the body camera recording, questions remain. Questions about preferential treatment in the investigation that followed, about CBI's actions after the recording became public, and questions about why Director Schaefer continues to decline requests to sit in front of our cameras and address those unresolved issues.
Director Schaefer has declined to comment or explain or defend his actions against his friend. Does that concern you?
I'm a Chris Schaefer fan, and if it's him making that decision, my advice to my friend would be, Chris, step up in front of the camera, do this thing, take your medicine, and let's move on, because that's what a leader does.
Since our investigation first aired back in October, we have also learned Agent Pearson has been reassigned. He is no longer working the streets as a CBI agent. Instead, he has been reassigned to a desk job. CBI also released a statement that justified the delay in reporting, telling us This is the first time it's been forced to deal with an issue of bias at this level. Now, our digging doesn't stop here. We will also closely monitor the ongoing third-party review.